Welcome to another episode of The Scoop. Tonight, I am joined by my new co-host, longtime friend, Mr. Harry.
How you doing there, Pickle?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a gorgeous day today in New Orleans.
Yes, we're finally getting some sort of semblance of fall weather.
Finally, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
It took it long enough, but yeah, we're finally feeling like it's a little bit, that little nip in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it. And I think everybody should be enjoying it this weekend.
Yeah.
A lot going on in the city this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of trunk or treat things going on.
Yeah,
You
saw
got
that.
Halloween is Tuesday, so
Well,
that means
hopefully it'll
everybody is using this weekend as their
Well, the adults, yeah.
the adult. This is the adult Halloween,
Right. The
being
weekend before.
last night and tonight.
Which I think a lot of parents, or people who have kids are happy about, because they can do their Halloween parties, adult Halloween parties, and then when trick or treat rolls around on Tuesday, they don't feel like they're missing out on anything. Because I know they want to be there for their kids in Halloween, but let's face it, most times if Halloween throws on a Saturday night, you're gonna miss out on a party because you got to bring your kids trick or treating. And I don't have kids, but I'm assuming that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
could
even
be wrong.
still, there's one of the big things that's become popular in more recent times is trunk or treats,
Yeah, I've seen that.
which I'm actually doing one tonight with my Lions Club.
Okay, so what y'all are in a parking lot, bunch of cars.
Yeah, it's at
Handing out candy?
St. Mary Magdalene, and we've got like basically two trunks, which is the back of trucks,
Right.
and we're going to be handing out little sacks that we made that have, some bubble gum, maybe a Snickers bar.
So a little, like a little trick or treat package. with
Yeah, and
different
it's got
things.
like stickers,
So they
a
just
ring.
get one piece of candy, they'll get a little variety.
Yeah, they get a little
that's
smorgasbord of stuff.
In the Lions clubs, and that's good. That's nice of y'all to do that.
Yeah, it gets our name out there, and I know that I think they charge like $1 to go in and
Do they have
trunk or
like
treat, and
they
all
have,
the
like, face
proceeds go to
painting
the.
and-
Yeah, they've got like face painters. They've got one dude. I guess he owns something like an Accent Annex or something like that, to where every year it seems like he gives out stuffed animals to the kids.
Okay, so not just candy, which is
Yeah, I mean,
sure they'll
there's
like just as much.
some guy who's got a trailer that they fill up with hay and give kids a little hay ride around the
do they
playground or whatever.
do they still do that trick or treat boo in the zoo? They still do that?
Yeah, I think that was last weekend.
Okay, I remember that. See, when we were kids, we didn't have any of this stuff. We literally have to go
Yeah, you'd have to go door
door
to
to
door.
door and get candy. I mean, collect as much as you could in a short period of time. And so, yeah, I mean, but back then, the streets were a lot safer back then.
Yeah, I mean, we would
Some
go.
of these kids can't even trick or treat in their own neighborhoods.
Yeah, I mean, how many blocks would you go trick or treating as a kid? Like me, my friends, my sister.
We covered some freaking ground.
we-
Let me tell you.
Dude, we'd do like 6 or 7 blocks by my house.
Yeah.
And then my aunt lived in River Ridge, and her block was like a big block party thing.
Right. But
So
we did that.
all the
Well,
houses
we didn't
had.
travel, but
Well, like once we did our trick or treating, we'd go over by my aunt's house mainly to see my aunt, and then me, my sister, and then my
Yeah.
cousins from that aunt would go trick or treating on their
gotcha.
block.
yeah, I mean, trick or treat was always, still is for kids, just a huge deal. I mean, the whole idea of going to people's strangers' houses and they just give you candy. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you pass that up?
Right.
Whoever came up with this idea is
Is a
genius.
genius.
Right.
Yeah.
But after a certain age, then you become a teenager and not trick or treat. Now it's going to parties and dances, and I don't know what goes on in teenager parties today. But
Yeah, today.
But people would try to sneak a little alcohol in there, and
Yeah, a little booze.
yeah. And then as you become adults, I mean, they have the crazy fucking parties. I mean, they got those lingerie parties. And,
Well, I even saw. I think the moms was having their thing. I think this weekend.
yeah, I think it might be tonight.
Yeah, out at.
And so you know that
Yeah,
party
that party is going
is
to be
gonna
fucking
be
insane.
outrageous.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a couple of mom's balls. When the Radiators used to play, they used to be the entertainment, and I'm still good friends with Camille, the guitar player, and I would go in as I would watch their table basically, their
Yeah.
liquor, their food. I got to see the Radiators for free and watch the sights.
Yeah, you were the band's security.
Basically, yeah. I was not a roadie. I was the band security, and I could drink whatever I wanted. Well, not so much drink, but I eat because I was also driving them to the mom's ball and then driving them back.
Yeah.
So I was their designated driver as well. I mean, I could have a beer if I wanted or something, but
Yeah, but
I
you
had to
couldn't
stay- I had
get
to-
shit faced.
no, I had to stay sober.
Yeah.
And then Remedy Crew, when I was with Remedy Crew, we played the mom's ball, and I mean, that's even crazier when you're actually participating in the mom's ball. Yeah, it's pretty outrageous. So that might be tonight. I heard some.
Yeah, I
rumblings.
saw it. I saw someone posted on Facebook sometime this week, but I don't remember what day it was, whether it was Friday or Saturday night. I would assume that it would be the
And
Saturday night.
and as you know, it's by invitation only.
Yes.
You have to know somebody that's part of that crew and get invited. You can't just show up at the mom's ball.
Well, I think
in
for
a
the
costume.
Halloween one, it's a little bit more lax to where you
Okay.
can, I think that the comment said you could go to, like, Le Chat Noir or, some particular bar, and they would just give you an invitation if you really wanted to go.
Okay. I think it made it cool though that it was sort of by invitation only. So it almost
Yeah.
made it like kind of taboo. Like you really wanted to know somebody that was in the crew, so you get invited.
Yeah,
Say
it's-
that you went.
Well, the Mardi Gras Mom's Ball is still on my bucket list
Yeah.
because I'm always
Those
doing,
are the ones I did with the Radiators.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are it's nothing short of Caligula. It's good.
So let's see. Besides the Halloween festivities, you've got Voodoo going on this weekend.
All this weekend. It started last night. Actually, my brother and my sister-in-law went. They went to go see Afghan Wigs.
Yeah.
As you know, Dave Rosser used to be in Afghan Wigs. I got my
Yeah.
Viva
Represent.
Rosser. And so they went and saw that, and they had the VIP and everything. And one thing they said about Voodoo is they felt so old there.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I know it's a lot younger crowd. I get that, but they said the majority of the crowd was young.
well,
I don't know. I didn't see
this
the lineup.
year's
So
lineup, from what I recall, I mean, not to
And this
bear
is my younger
ass to
brother who
age-
felt
yeah,
old.
Not to bear my ass to my age, but there's a lot of the bands on the card that I can't tell you if I've ever heard them before.
right, and that's that's just because the music we listen to is not what a younger generation, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
The older generation views the new music as it's terrible. I mean, I wouldn't go just because I wouldn't be familiar with the music. I mean, I'm sure I could have a good time there.
Yeah.
And there's food and there's drinks and there's all kinds of things to see.
Well, I mean, there is music, so
Right, and there's plenty
I
of
mean,
it.
just because you've never heard that band
Right.
before doesn't mean that
And it's
you'll
a wide, diverse-
that you'll hate them. You know,
Right. It's very diverse, which I think that Voodoo's very good at.
yes, they are.
It's hip hop, it's electronic music, it's rock and roll. They've had metal, they've had bluegrass. I mean, you name it, it's played Voodoo.
Yes,
And I think it seems like Jazz Fest is trying to become more like that, but they'll never be like Voodoo, and with good reason, Plus, Voodoo's at the perfect time of the year. It's in late October. The weather's like this.
yeah,
I mean, this is the type of weather you want to be at an outdoor festival.
yeah. You don't want to be there necessarily. Like Endfest used to always be back in the. It would be like in August or July. When
Outdoors.
Palooza came by, it was always in like July or August.
Right. The weather's nice. Now, I went to Voodoo 2 years ago I think it was 2 years ago, when it rained all weekend, and there was probably 1.5 to 2 feet of just mud everywhere. And we went and saw Ozzy. He played again at Voodoo, and it was so hard to walk around, and it smelled so bad. You know, when that mud
Yeah,
gets,
because that mud that
gets
they're using, it's swamp mud. You
right,
know, I mean,
exactly. And it was raining, and it rained actually during the show. After it had been raining all day Friday, all day Saturday, and finally Sunday they just canceled the Sunday Voodoo Fest because it was just
yeah, it was
for
a
health
lake.
reasons. And
Yeah,
it was impassable by foot, and that's how you get around outdoor festivals. Any festival on foot, when you can't walk through that slushy mud, you can't do it.
Yeah.
But but normally October's gorgeous.
yeah. I mean, but with Voodoo, there was a handful of bands that I know or that I know of,
Heard of, right?
and that I would have liked to go see, but
First
for
and
me, it
foremost,
wasn't.
the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Everybody's pretty much heard of the Foo Fighters, unless you've been living on a different planet.
But the problem that I run into is that it's hard for me to pull away an entire day to go spend
Right.
at a festival.
Even tonight, Foo Fighters are the headliner. They would be the only ones that I'd want to see.
Yeah.
Realistically, I mean, I could probably find somebody that I thought was cool leading up to the Foo Fighters, but I don't want to be out there all day. And I don't even think you can get single day tickets for this Saturday. I think that's sold out. And it's $100.
Yeah.
$100. Okay, so if I'm going to spend $100 to see the Foo Fighters, I might as well just wait till they come to the arena.
Yeah, go to the arena, go to the Dome or wherever.
Right. And I've seen them before at Voodoo, and they're fucking phenomenal. They're a great band, but I couldn't justify spending $100 just to go see them. So there's no LSU game tonight.
Yeah,
they're on a bye. So Saturday, unless you're going to Voodoo Fest, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm just going to light up my fire pit and chillax.
Once I finish with my trunk or treat, that is my plans for this evening.
Right.
Is sitting around the fire pit, have some cocktails.
Absolutely. I mean, the weather's going to be great. I'm a college football fan, so I'm sure I can find a good college football game that's on. Or I think Game 4 of the World Series is tonight. Is it Game 4? Game 3 was last night.
Game 3 was last night, so yeah, I'd assume it's got to be tonight because it's not a travel.
Right, no travel. So if that's the case, I don't even know. But if that's the case, I'm going to probably watch that too.
So with the World Series, who you pulling for?
I am actually pulling for the Houston Astros for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
First and foremost, Alex Bregman, who is a former LSU baseball Tiger, second overall pick from LSU. And so he's asked, so I'm going to pick, I'm going for them. Also, what Houston went through with the hurricane, with Harvey. This city needs something
to rally behind.
To boost their spirits. I remember how much, that 09 season was, or not even the 09 season, that 06 season when the Superdome opened up. I mean, the Saints just brought back some kind of
energy,
hope, faith, in the city. And sports has the ability to do that. And these Houston fans need that.
Yeah.
Like, they need that badly. And they've never won the World Series, ever. So
they haven't?
No. In fact, their first victory in L.A. was their first World Series victory ever. They had never won a game in the World. They had been to the World Series. They never won. They've never even won a game in the World Series. They've been swept.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I am pulling for Houston mainly because back in the heyday when I would play like RBI baseball and Major League Baseball on Nintendo,
you were the Houston Astros.
I would always play as the Astros because back then they had Nolan Ryan, so you'd have like that
the most
200-mile-an-hour pitch
and those hideous uniforms.
The hideous, like
those are the worst.
It was almost pink and blue, just because you only had those 16 colors.
Yeah.
Of NES.
Now they're retro and they're actually cool. You see some people in the stands wearing the old Houston Astros jerseys, but back then, those were hideous outfits. I don't know what's worse, those or the ones the Pittsburgh Pirates wore. Back in the 70s with that goofy looking cap. I don't know.
Yeah, with the
But I
like a
digress.
painter's cap almost.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. Looked like they were from the 1910, 1950s,
Yeah.
20s, early years. But yeah, that's why I'm picking the Houston Astros. I mean, I don't really have a dog in the fight. Also, the Astros are, they're the American League, and I'm an American League guy.
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain to my mom the designated hitter thing overnight, and I think she may have caught on to it. I think honestly they should either have the DH or not have the DH, and let everybody have the same.
Yeah.
rule.
Well, in my opinion, it makes sense to have a designated hitter.
It does.
That way your pitcher is focused. In my opinion, when you're a pitcher, you don't need to be focusing on your hitting.
And you don't need to be facing a 95-mile-an-hour fastball when you got to pitch the next inning.
Right.
Although, and what's crazy is in the National League, because they're used to hitting, because they don't have a DH, most National League pitchers hit pretty decent.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not ripping the cover
Yeah,
off the ball.
they're not 70 home runs a year.
No,
kinda
but they're decent
guys,
hitters
but they're
because
good
they're
enough.
used to
Yeah,
doing
to
it.
where they can get on base and
Right. As American League hitters, they don't ever hit because they have a DH. And the only time they hit is during interleague play.
Yeah.
If they're playing in a National League park, then they have to bat, which is, maybe, 164 game season, they might bat 10 times.
yeah.
I mean, that's nothing. Whereas National League hitters hit every time they're pitching that day.
I'd like to see see everything go to using a designated hitter, and I mean, because when you also look at it, the pitcher is the most active person.
Oh yeah,
on the field.
Shoot,
the
David
closest,
Ortiz.
the
Ortiz
closest to it would be maybe the catcher.
Right. Well, David Ortiz made an entire career as a DH.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his whole career, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He was a DH his whole career.
The DH, yeah.
I mean, but a guy with that much power, because I mean, he really didn't play a position, and most DHs don't. They don't. They're not position players. They have one role on the team, and that's the hit
And
to
that's
the
to
pitcher.
swing a stick.
That's it. That's their job.
Get up there and swing the stick and run.
Sometimes players in their late part of their career will become DHs.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the power they used to have, but they still can hit the ball. So they usually put him as a DH. Because I think maybe Ortiz may have played first base, if I'm not sure, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. But
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but he may have played a position. But anyway, I digress.
So you had mentioned LSU.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Tigers this season so far? I mean, we're
been-
about halfway through the season right
Yeah.
now, as you
5-2.
We're at the bye week right now.
Yeah.
We're about to
annual
play.
bye week before the Alabama game.
That's right.
This team has been very strange. I went to the first game against BYU, and they looked like world beaters. Now, granted, it was BYU, and they weren't, they weren't playing Florida State or, USC or anybody, but they looked damn good. And of course, the next week they played Chattanooga, and they tore them an asshole, a new one, and I figured, okay. And then they go to Mississippi State, and they stink up the joint.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, so is this, what we saw 2 weeks ago, was that a facade, or is this the real LSU, or did they just have an off day? And we figured, okay, it's Mississippi State, they're on the road, blah, 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 young team. Then Troy comes to town. No, they played one going, well, there was a game
Yeah, I
between
thought
Troy.
that we played like Appalachia State or something like that, and then played Troy.
Then we played Troy, and
Troy fucking wipes the floor.
absolutely,
With us. Yeah.
the LSU got their asses kicked royally by Troy. Now, Troy's not a bad team, but I think they were like 23-point underdogs.
Right.
And wow. So everybody's like, fire Coach O, and which you don't fire coach midseason. I think that's a stupid idea.
Well, to
I
fire
don't
him
think that does anything for the team.
mid-season,
No.
and when they're only
4 games in.
12 games into their coaching career at
Right.
that
Exactly.
school, it's like Give the man enough time to.
A lot of people don't remember this, but in Nick Saban's first year, he lost to La Tech at home. Okay? And what has he done since then? What, 4 national championships?
Yeah,
Okay.
409
So,
national championships. It feels
people
like
who need
shit.
to, want to fire Coach O need to pump the brakes a little bit. Okay?
Yeah.
They need to pump the brakes. I mean, I'm not saying he's the second coming of Nick Saban by any stretch, but yeah, Nick Saban's career didn't start off fantastic. He had to slowly build that program to where it is now, which is a fucking powerhouse. I mean, let's face it. But then LSU beats Florida by 1 on a missed extra point by Florida. And then they beat Auburn, the 10th ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait, you lose to Troy at home.
But then you win to.
On homecoming, no less.
Yeah.
Then you go to Florida and beat them on their homecoming, and then you wipe the field with Auburn. So I don't know what to think of this team, honestly. They are young, and I think they're going to get better as the year goes on. And I think this bye week always comes at a good time. You always want to have it before you play Alabama.
Yeah.
The downside is that you give Nick Saban 2 weeks to prepare for LSU, and you give Nick Saban 2 weeks to prepare for anybody, unless you're Clemson,
Right.
unless you get somebody like Deshaun Watson as your quarterback, you really don't stand a chance. With that said, LSU could pull the upset off. They absolutely could. They beat number 1 Florida back in '95 with Steve Sperry as the coach. They were the number 1 team ranked in
and we beat
that was
them.
at home. It was in Tiger Stadium, but they beat them.
Yeah.
And nobody gave them a shot. And the next week, they end up on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So it could happen. Do I think it's going to happen? I've watched this Alabama team. They're fucking good, man. I mean, I don't see any weaknesses. I really don't. You know?
I
And
don't
they're
know what
deep a
Nick
team as I've
Saban
ever
does,
seen.
but he is getting it. It seems like he is getting all of the cream of the crop.
I don't think it's not. Well, it is that. But I mean, LSU gets some damn good players.
Yeah,
I mean, LSU's loaded with talent, but for some reason,
Nick Saban is able
he has
to put
the
it
magic
into
touch
them. Yeah.
of finding those players that will contribute in the way he wants them to contribute on that team. They become high school players, and they becoming leaders. I mean, now LSU has more players in the NFL than any college team starting right now.
Yeah.
But Alabama keeps winning national championship. So, it's the players work at, players are going to do well afterwards. I think with Coach O, you just got to give the guy time.
Yeah.
He failed at Ole Miss, which probably made him feel good about beating Ole Miss last week.
Yes.
I mean, they laid the lumber to Ole Miss. And but he did a stint with USC and had a winning record, and he was the interim last year and had a winning record, and right now he's got a winning record.
Yeah. So
He beats Alabama next Saturday.
yeah, people
And-
are going to be
and-
fucking paying attention.
Oh, the players and that's the thing. A lot of the LSU players are so young that nobody in the country really knows about them. I mean, everybody knows about DJ Chark and guys like that, but there's a lot of young guys. They beat Alabama, they're going to become household names. If they shut that Alabama offense down, people are going to know who those little freshmen are. Mm-hmm. And they're freshmen, which makes it even better.
So how do you predict that they will end the season? I mean, they've got 5 games left after this?
They still got to play, obviously, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They still got to play A&M. They still got to play Arkansas. And I think they still have to play Tennessee. So that's, 4 games? They're 5-2. So they beat Alabama. 6-2. So that makes 8. 8 and 4 is 12, right? Yeah. So they have 4 games after that. I'm actually going to the A&M game in Tiger Stadium. I got tickets for that already.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I try to make at least one LSU game every year. I'm not having season tickets. I mean, I can find, usually find somebody that has tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, they've gotten a little bit easier in more recent years to come across.
Right. I mean,
There was a few years where it seemed like you weren't going to get them. You
Right.
know what I mean?
A&M's probably, other than Alabama, A&M's probably going to be their toughest test down the line. Tennessee and Arkansas are two teams going in the wrong direction. With that being said, it is the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're both SEC teams.
right, you know.
And I have never seen an SEC, shall we call it, rivalry game where it is a snooze fest.
Oh, no. I mean, and no lead is safe.
It's pretty much always a
Unless you play in Alabama, then your lead is pretty much safe if you got one.
yeah.
If you're up by more than 2 touchdowns, it's over against Alabama. You know, they don't usually relinquish 14-point leads.
So we talked about the Tigers. How about them Saints?
How about them Saints?
I mean, I'll be honest. In the beginning of the season, Harry, after
like
the
the
first
much like
2 or 3
LSU.
games, I was ready to hang up the fucking, be like, well, there's always next year, you know?
Well, I never got to that point. I
Well,
was obviously
seeing
very
their
disappointed.
quality of play,
Yeah.
it didn't make me hopeful
No.
for the coming season. You know what I mean?
Well, after they were 0-2, my big thing was if they go 0-3, it's going to be bad. If they can at least go 2-2 through the first 4 games, because their first 4 games were tough.
Yeah.
They had to play Minnesota, has a winning record right now, the fucking Patriots.
Right.
They had to beat Carolina and Miami in London.
Yes.
Now we know that Miami is garbage, and Carolina just lost to Chicago Bears when they only threw 7 passes. So, but they beat both those teams. But when the schedule came out, you saw those four teams, and Miami was a playoff team last year. In fact, Miami, all 3 were playoff teams except for I think Minnesota.
Yeah.
No, Carolina didn't make the playoffs last year, but still, they made the Super Bowl the year before. I'm thinking, man, if they don't get
They were still a strong contender.
if they don't get a split in these first 4 games, if they go 0-4 with this schedule, it's going to be another long season. And all of a sudden, the defense is saving games for the Saints. When was the last time you heard that happen?
Yeah.
Where they're scoring on defense. They had 3 defensive touchdowns against the Lions. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. As a fantasy player, the person that I happened to be playing that week went and picked up the Saints during
The defense?
yeah, they picked up the Saints defense during their
That was a smart pick for
during
that
the week. And they beat the living hell out of me.
Well, of course. I mean, how many points did the
Yeah,
defense
the
score?
defense I think scored like 33 points or something.
Right. By
Something
themselves.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And what's funny is the Ravens on Monday night, yes, there was was it Monday night or Thursday night? Thursday night. There was a Thursday night game against the Dolphins. The defense scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's 2 teams this year have scored 3 defensive touchdowns in the same game.
Yeah, it's
And the season's not even at the midway point yet.
and now I'm hearing rumor of a possible Saints trying to make a trade for Jimmy Graham.
I heard
get
that.
Jimmy Graham back.
I did hear that. Yeah, the Jimmy Graham experiment in Seattle didn't work. I don't know what Seattle thought they had or didn't have in Jimmy Graham, but they saw what he did in New Orleans. And I don't know why. I mean, think about it. He's a tight end. He catches passes. Okay, he did that with great success with Drew Brees in New Orleans. Now, I can't think of the quarterback's name for Seattle.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. He's no Drew Brees, but he's about the same height as Drew Brees. So he's a big tight end. What's the deal? All of a sudden, he can't catch passes. They're not throwing the ball. He can't get open. I mean, he didn't have that problem here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's not the player, it's the scheme. Maybe they thought, if we could get him to do that here in Seattle, what an asset.
Right.
And it's just, it doesn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's been a a bust for all due purposes for them.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jimmy Graham come back only because he is such a weapon for Drew Brees. The thing about Jimmy Graham that I didn't like, and I don't know if he's even improved it, is his run blocking. He was never a good run blocker. Like, he would just whiff on people. And, I mean, part of the success of the Saints this year is being able to run the ball, which is a new thing, considering we got such a young offensive line. I don't know how he would benefit, but he could be in pass plays, but then,
Well,
they see Jimmy Graham coming in and feel, well, they're obviously going to throw it to him. He never blocks down, on run plays, so they're obviously throwing him the ball, so.
Yeah, but if you can get it to where you have that many weapons on the field, you've got a strong running force, you've got a good tight end, you've got, one or two good targets who are wide receivers. You leave the defense wondering
and tight ends
which player they're going to do.
And a good tight end is a rare find. You get guys like Kelsey in Kansas City. You got the
Gronk and
absolutely
and Patriots.
Gronk. Carolina's tight end Olsen.
Yeah,
He's been hurt, but I mean, these guys are such a valuable part to the offense, not just in the passing game, but in the running game, and especially throwing balls, down the center of the field.
Yeah.
And you don't see enough really good tight ends. So if they have a chance to get him, thing is, what's it going to cost us? Like, we're not going to give up a lot for him. We already know what he can do. We've got two tight ends that are pretty decent, and the offense has been pretty clicking. So we're not giving up the farm for somebody we got rid of once.
Yeah, that we gave to you, basically.
Right, exactly. And also, the part, the trade that we got, Max Unger, has worked out great.
Yeah.
We totally screwed Seattle on that deal. So I think we got a draft pick, which is a starter, but I'm not sure who it is offhand. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I always liked Jimmy Graham. I thought he was kind of foolish wanting wide receiver money,
Well, at one point
but he caught as many balls as a wide receiver.
Towards the end, he was getting a little bit egotistical, shall we call it?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of players get that way. When they see the dollar signs being flashed in front of them, and their agent tell them, "Look, you caught 90 balls for 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, and you're getting paid this. You obviously deserve what this guy over here is making."
Yeah, look what this guy gets,
and he caught less passes than you for less touchdowns. So when that starts happening, but we know what it's all about. It's all about the Benjamins.
That's right. So, how do you see the Saints doing this season? We're just shy of the halfway point.
I don't think I'm totally sold on this defense, although they've looked really good.
They've looked really good the last couple
4 weeks. I always and I like I said, I base that on the level of our competition. When we have to play Atlanta, when we have to play the Redskins, Kirk Cousins, we got to play the Rams. And Goff, and that's what the top offense in the NFL, the Rams.
Yeah.
So we got to play them. So there's some games coming up down the road.
Who would have thought that the Rams would be the force to be reckoned with?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think
like
the guy
last year. If you would have told me, you better look out for the Rams next year.
Last year they looked like the typical Rams. Last
Yeah.
year. I mean, they just. I don't think the move. I knew that wasn't going to just turn them into world beaters, but this young coach they have is good. Like he's, John Gruden good.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, and he's the youngest coach in the NFL. I think he's the youngest head coach in the NFL ever, but total age. So we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with him. But this Saints team, they can win this division. they can win their division.
Yeah, I think that they can definitely win their division.
And that's the first thing you want to do is win your division. You win your division, you're going to get a playoff game, and you'll get possibly a home playoff game.
Yeah.
In the divisional round. So win the division first. This division is winnable. I don't think the Carolina is what they were. I think the Falcons are still hung over from, giving up that huge lead in the Super Bowl last year. I think Tampa Bay was sort of a aberration last year. They finished pretty strong, but they have not looked good. Saints, are the only team, has a win streak right now. The other three teams have lost 3 or 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And we've won 3 in a row. But, that's why they play the games. I'm predicting, my prediction at the beginning of the year was 9-7. And I think I'm going to stick with that for now.
Yeah,
I haven't seen enough, but I'm pleased with what I've seen. I'm sticking with 9-7.
What I've seen so far,
and I can win the division. 9-7 could absolutely win the NFC South.
Yeah.
I've seen 8-8 win a division before, so I think one year the NFC West 7-9 won the division. A team with a losing record was the division champion.
Wouldn't surprise me because they've got the Rams, they've got 49ers.
Well, they got Carolina one more. They got the Falcons twice and the Bucks twice. They've got the Rams, Redskins, the Jets, and they still got to play Buffalo. And Buffalo's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
They're circling wagons up there.
Yeah. Well, and you're getting into good Buffalo playing season.
Yeah, when is that? Oh, yeah, it's not quite winter yet up there in Orchard Park, huh?
Yeah, but it's getting close.
You don't want to play Buffalo in that stadium in December.
I have seen so many times games in Buffalo where
that's what made them so.
Yeah, to where it looks like I'm watching the game through like scramble vision or something, just because there's that much snow.
I can't imagine even playing in that weather. You see it in Green Bay, you see it in Pittsburgh, you see it in Foxborough in December. It's not just the snow and the cold, but I don't know if you've ever banged your hand on a door out in the cold and how much that fucking stings. Can you imagine getting hit like that repeatedly in that cold weather?
Not just in your hands.
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That cold.
Yeah, I remember
your bones more brittle or
growing
something.
up, the 2 or 3 times that it actually snowed down here.
Yeah.
Me and my friends would go run and play football
on
the old on the Cole Classique football field.
Yeah.
And just taking tackles and and we weren't wearing gear. We were just wearing our snow coat.
But it was playing in the because when you get out there with the football when it snowed, you just picture those old NFL films.
Yeah.
Running around in that snow, seeing O.J. Simpson. Yeah. Did you see that picture of O.J. Simpson? He was taking a picture with there were 2 girls who posed with him. Do these girls not know who O.J. Simpson is? They're like, oh, dang, who's this guy? It's a big black guy or whatever, do they not know what this guy?
It's the guy who played Nordberg.
Allegedly did, do they know who O.J. Simpson is?
They must
or do they not care?
Yeah. There is just the fact that, hey, he's a celebrity.
I'd have trouble taking a picture with a guy who was, even if he was acquitted of murder with overwhelming evidence, I don't think I'd want to be in the same room with a person like that. And not that I think O.J. would pull out a knife and cut my throat. I don't want to be around a person like that.
Yeah.
Despite of who he is. Now, before that, I thought O.J. was, a great football player, low to midland actor, He was the juice, but these women, they must not have a fucking clue who they're standing next to.
They obviously didn't watch the Cuba Gooding Cuba Gooding
Well, they were
Jr.
obviously too young to even
show.
remember the trial. Probably. I mean, they were probably.
Well, but just like last year or whatever, they had the OJ versus the people of California show.
Yeah. Well, these girls. I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
and I don't
Like
want
the
to
one
be
with Cuba Gooding Jr.
right. I mean, well, and these girls, and I don't want to disparage them, by the way they looked and how smart they are, but there got to be something off with them that they would just agree. Oh, OJ, can we take a picture with you?
I love OJ. I drink it every day with my breakfast.
I can spell OJ. Wait, don't help me. Sounds like, yeah. When I saw the picture, I was like, wow.
This morning I was over by my friend Hunter's house, and he was flipping through the channels, and he found Naked Gun 2.5.
Oh, jeez.
And OJ, of course, being a one of the
Method actor that he
the
is.
stars of the movie.
Right. Imagine that read through before.
Nordberg, read this. I love
He actually had
you.
pretty decent comedy timing, but I think he was helped by having
by having Leslie Nielsen and what's his name, George.
Foreman. No.
The guy who
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
Believe me, I know who you're talking about. Those dudes. I mean, those dudes were hilarious. Well, they were from the Airplane
right.
days. This was sort of a police version of Airplane. So I think he benefited from being around those guys because I don't think that O.J. Simpson or Orenthal J. Simpson stepped onto the stage and flashed his comedy prowess.
Oh, I can guarantee you he didn't.
No, he probably watched these guys work and goes, if I'm careful and patient and listen, and I'm not killing anybody, I could probably do this movie really well.
So we did lose some people recently.
Yes, we did. It seems like this is like a daily thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
people die every day. I mean, that's sort of a dumb statement.
well,
yeah,
I know
but
everybody
really,
was
really
saying like
important people.
last year there was a big run on celebrity deaths.
Well, they say they come in threes, so sometimes they come in more than threes.
Yeah, I mean, this year, let's see, we've had your boy from Lincoln Park, Chester Bedingfield.
Yeah, another young rock star. Did you ever find out why that happened? Was it a suicide thing, or?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I've lost friends to suicide, so I mean, I'm not saying that I understand it, but it's got to be horrible to have that inside you, something that you can't explain to somebody. You can't let them know, because that person probably doesn't understand it fully themselves, and that they think this is their solution.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to get into a big debate about that, but it's just sad, a young guy like that with so much talent,
But we lost Tom Petty.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
last
we were
week,
talking
week
about
before
this.
last?
Yeah, we were talking about this before the show that last year when he played Jazz Fest, I didn't go, and I'm kicking myself now. But you think, next year come around, be Lakefront Arena or New Orleans Arena. And my advice to people out there who, have somebody that they want to see, when you have the chance to see them, go see them.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah, I mean, they may just decide that they're done touring,
But
there's
always that chance they might come back.
Yeah.
Once they're dead, I mean, it's over,
Yeah.
I mean, there is no seeing Tom Petty now. And I feel bad because I was always a fan, I liked his music. And I think something came up where I couldn't go on that particular day he was playing.
Yeah,
And I saw a lot of video, and he sounded good. And that was like 6 months ago.
yeah.
Who knew, man?
I was getting asked when he passed if I had ever seen him play.
Yeah.
And I couldn't recall whether or not I had seen him at a jazz fest or a voodoo or
Yeah. He was from
something.
Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
In fact, during the Florida game, the band did a tribute
Yes.
to Tom Petty, which I thought was really awesome. It was very, very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one guy I wish I would have saw. Never got a chance to.
Yeah.
And I regret it now,
But on another legend note, Fats Domino this week.
Yep, a couple days ago.
I mean, he was considered an icon of the Katrina
Yeah.
disaster. A lot of people were, worried, and I think that at one point he was declared dead during
Yeah.
Katrina.
And
he was like, "No,
yeah,
I'm fine."
He didn't want to leave because his family didn't want to go, and he said, "I'm not leaving without my family." But Fats was such an influence on so many people musically,
Oh, yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah,
It's
not
just-
just in the New Orleans mindset. I
Yeah.
mean,
He
hell,
was-
the Beatles.
He was a big favorite of my dad, my pop. He loved Fats, and I actually saw Fats perform at Jazz Fest. Get this, it was the main stage. I guess it's called the Acura stage now. Maybe it was something else back
Yeah.
then. It was Fats Domino, then it was Ray Charles. No, Dr. John, then Ray Charles.
Wow.
One after another. Now that they never performed together, but imagine sitting in
but
front of that stage
seeing
all day.
three
You get Fats Domino,
piano legends.
then you got Dr. John to
Yeah.
follow, and of course the headliner's got to be Ray Charles. Even though Dr. John's from New Orleans, I mean it's Ray Charles.
Yeah.
I actually took my dad to see Ray Charles one time at Harrah's, and he was in his element because as much as he was a fan of Fats Domino, Ray was his man. But my dad had all the Ray Charles albums.
Yeah. I had
But yeah, they old Fats.
thinking of Fats when he passed away. I thought back to a lot of the good times. Like as a kid, I would be taking rides, going on like a road trip or whatever, and my dad would have on, either WTIX or, some sort of tape of some sort.
They're going to do a second line for Fats this week. And I think it's starting. I'm not aware. It's either starting at his house in the Ninth Ward or ending there. But it's going to be a vigil for Fats. And I'm not sure what day, Monday or Tuesday. When you find out, you put it up on the website.
Yeah, I
So
definitely
people
will.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So,
Robert Guillaume died.
yeah, Robert Guillaume, the old Benson.
Benson. Boy, I used to love that show. I thought, when I started liking Benson was on Soap when he was the butler.
Oh, yes.
Because he didn't have a lot of lines, but he was so dry with his delivery to that rich family. It cracked me up. It was no wonder he was going to get his own show.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was obviously very talented and very, very funny. And he was 89.
He was like 89, I think
Yeah.
it was.
He had, I think he had been suffering from colon cancer.
Yeah, it was some sort of cancer. I don't remember if it was
It's
colon
hard to believe
or
Fats Domino
prostate
and Robert
or-
Guillaume were the same age.
Yeah.
But Guillaume was famous more in the later part of his life, like in probably his
Yeah.
50s or 60s.
I think before that he was like a Broadway
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he did a lot of Broadway stuff, a lot of theater, before he became a television star. I mean,
Yeah.
he wasn't really a star on soaps. He was more of a bit player, as were most of the people on that show. There was so many
Yeah, there
characters.
was so
on it.
many.
There was two families. So you had two husbands, wives, and kids, and it's just craziness. Jimmy Bale was on that show.
Yeah.
So then, of course, Benson, he was awesome as the butler for the governor. No, he wasn't the butler. He was the, I think he was like an advisor to the governor. That dumb idiot governor they had. I don't think
I think that-
he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I don't think he was the butler.
But he was an assistant of some sort to him.
I think, and at one point towards the end of the show, I think he actually ran for office and won for some kind of position in California. It's television, but yeah, Benson.
So something else I have listed here: Oktoberfest. Did you make it out to?
We did go.
Oktoberfest
We did go to Oktoberfest one weekend. Saw the brats. Awesome. Love the brats. I mean, it's no wonder why they're playing every weekend. I mean, the early days of Oktoberfest, they had an Oopah band. It was, it was right. Since, German music. They take it to a whole new level. They make a lot more younger people want to be at Oktoberfest.
Well, they play a handful of the old classic songs.
Covers in Oompa style. And I'm like, this is awesome.
But they do some of the classics of German music.
Oh, yeah.
But, the way that they bring the covers and, doing songs that you wouldn't think to be in polka whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, polka. What is that called? Oompa music? That's not really a genre. Oompa music?
Polka.
Polka?
Polka.
I like a good
Just polka.
I like a good polka. No, I love the brats. We went. It was the new location, which is going to be the permanent location for Deutsches Haus. And they had the ground all laid out.
What did you think of the new location?
I love it. I think it's a great place. It's good to have a full, a nice permanent structure for what they have.
Yeah.
And I thought the parking was going to be a kind of a pain. It actually wasn't bad.
Yeah, the first time or both times that I went, I was expecting that it was going to be hellfire.
Right. Because that's where people would, park, for Voodoo Fest and Jazz Fest. When they had it in, Rivertown, right?
Yeah.
There was parking everywhere. And, but you had to walk a good distance.
Yeah, I'd always park up against the train tracks like down a block or two.
Right. But you had to walk a little distance. This is you're right there, on the grounds.
Yeah, you're on the grounds.
I'm trying to remember. Did they charge us? They charged us to get in.
It was like $7 or $8
and that's really, to help pay for the permits. I think once the permit structure's up, I wonder how do you become a member of
it
that?
was all. Oh, you just sign up.
Yeah, because I'm of German heritage. I think.
I was a member 1 year.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have any German in me, but.
That's a shame. You feel cheated? Oh, shit.
But I had a blast out there this year.
Yeah. It's always a good time.
Yeah, it's not like I had a terrible time out in Rivertown.
It was a little warm.
Yes.
It was a little warm. We hadn't gotten to this kind of weather yet.
Well, the first weekend that I went, it rained on us right towards the end.
Oh.
And we were quite happy to be getting rained on.
Yeah, it was a little warm. I saw, of course, Mayday he's been doing the sound for the brats.
Right.
And, of course, Nicole was there. But I didn't see anybody else really that I knew. But, we went there. We went through got the big dinner, with all the food,
I went and I had we
had strudel and we had plenty of beer and you did the typical stuff that everybody does.
Yeah, I went and had the dinner, waited through the hour-long line or whatever.
And but we know a couple people that actually are volunteers there. So we looked for them and hung out with them for a little, did some crazy shots out of a bottle. I don't know. I couldn't read the label, but I don't think you're supposed to drink something out of a bottle when you can't read the label. But I trusted the person having it, so I figured it couldn't be too bad.
I had Baron-Jaeger right there. That's very important.
Isn't that the one that's kind of tastes like honey?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, it's a honey lager.
Oh my God,
or a honey.
That's dangerous
liqueur.
stuff. That and that German chocolate cake shot that they make there. You don't want to start drinking those because it's like German chocolate cake, but you can feel the alcohol in it, but it's not enough to turn you off because it's mostly chocolate.
So let's see. Mayoral race.
Oh boy, the next person,
mayor
to
of
lead
New
the
Orleans.
city.
Yes, that's turning out to be a big mudslinger, huh?
A shit fest, a shit show, a dumpster fire. All those would apply.
Cantrell
Yeah.
being claimed to be
Using a
using
credit card.
her city credit card for personal expenses and for apparently election costs.
This is what's crazy about this to me. They issue, there's 12 council members?
Yes.
They each get a credit card. I'm assuming there's no limit. I mean, and nobody polices how they spend the money. Nobody. They just give them a credit card. Here you go. And
Yeah, I mean,
nobody says anything. Like, you're inviting disaster, you know?
yeah, you should at least have a check and balance to make sure
let's be
that it's like,
honest.
hey,
If somebody gave you a credit card with no limit,
right, yeah, if it's not being monitored or, no
At
one
all.
cares, what I'm using it for, there
And
will
then
probably be some inappropriations being made on this
major
credit card.
inappropriations. Well, and then I heard that she claimed that she was paying back the stuff that she thought she shouldn't spend money on. And I'm thinking to myself, you shouldn't spend any money on this credit card for your personal use. None of it should be on
Right.
it. Like, I don't know what I don't even
she
know what that credit
claims
card's
that
for.
One thing that she tried to claim
Like
was
an
that
emergency?
there's a thin line between personal and
Very thin.
and
She couldn't
business business case
Yeah.
when it comes to the council, because it's like, hey, I used money to go eat at this place in mid city or whatever, but they're my constituents.
She bought plane tickets.
Right.
She bought plane tickets too.
Yeah.
To go on vacation with her family.
Yes.
How is that's
I
mean, why are we paying for that?
Yeah, I mean, claiming it to be potentially a business trip of some sort.
And then Charbonnet, who's the other person?
Yeah, she's
the
a
other
judge
candidate.
right now, but
Other
there's a lot of people who are saying that everyone that is supporting her or that's backing her.
Canizero was.
Yeah.
He's had to recuse himself of this whole thing because he's back in Charbonnet. He can't put himself in this position to even deal with the Cantrell thing.
Right.
Which is true. I mean, if he's back in the opponent, he can't jump on and go, well, I'm going to prosecute you for this. And that's not right. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Even though you kind of wish he would, but he can't.
It's but I mean,
It's
there's
a
a lot
mess.
of people who they're saying that follow or that are backing her. Like, I forget what the guy's name is, but they said like everyone who this guy has backed since the 70s has been like the shyster candidate.
The shyster candidate. Well, I'm trying to think back to the last
That
mayor.
he's some guy who owns like a bunch of I guess the gift shops and bars.
That's where
and
you spend.
whatnot
That's
in
where
the
you use your
quarter.
credit card.
Yeah, that's right.
You go to the city PX with your credit card. They got Ferraris and trips, and I'll have the rest on a gift card. But yeah, it's pretty much a shit show. I was thinking back to the last mayor that didn't leave in disgrace, and it was tough to come up with a name. To be honest with you, I'm thinking Bartholomew. Maybe I don't remember the whole lot of shit on him. Obviously, we know Nagin and the Morial. But it's just I don't know,
Bartholomew maybe.
but if there's no checkers, but there's nobody to follow these people. I don't say follow them, but just keep tabs on what they're doing. Because the people who are keeping tabs or supposed to be watching them are probably getting paid to look the other way. So it never really ends,
Well, the other aspect is it's like when, let's say you run for mayor. You basically
That's not going to happen.
Well, let's say
I don't want that job.
Let's just say in theory,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
run for mayor, you win. Ladies and gentlemen, your new mayor, Mr. Harry.
You don't want to see that.
Harry, you have you usually see the mayor go through and clean house of, all these accountants and shit like that, and then put in
The people that are going to do
their
him.
supporters,
Absolutely. You want the people who aren't going to blow the whistle on you
Right.
because you're taking care of them. They're taking care of you. Everybody's happy except the people who voted for you.
Yeah.
Well, we know one of the biggest issues in this city is crime.
Yeah.
And unless whoever the next mayor is makes
A significant stride towards
significant.
eliminating
Well, I'm talking
crime.
about, I'm not saying wipe it out. That's not going to happen. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, it's
But it's
gotten
got-
to the point, crazy, or Harry, to where
crazy. Get some French fries?
Well, it's gotten so crazy to where I feel like there's moments where I would be willing to accept them putting portions of the city under martial law.
Wow, that's
You know what I
pretty
mean? Like,
Well, it would have to be Giuliani-esque for them
Yeah.
to make any kind of, make people believe that
you
they're
know what I
doing
mean?
a good job.
As conservative or whatever that is considered, I mean, there's parts of this city that are literally a war zone.
Oh, there's parts of the city that I won't even go to.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I almost never go to the French Quarter at night anymore for anything. Like I don't mind going in the daytime. I like it during the daytime. I think it's fun at night too, but it's just I don't feel safe. I used to like going down to Frenchman Street. I'm not walking up and down Frenchman because it's not being on Frenchman Street that's so bad. It's getting to Frenchman Street and getting back to your car that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's not actually. Although you can have you get hit by stray bullets on Frenchman or Bourbon or wherever, but it's the going to and from that scare the life out of me.
Yeah. Like last night when I went to the quarter, we stuck mostly along Decatur.
Right.
When
And you want to go in a group and you want to stay.
Yeah, and when I went last week for Crew of Boo, again stuck around mostly Decatur, and then
Well, there's really no safe part of the metropolitan area.
Yeah.
I mean, Metairies has their problems. It's not as bad as Orleans Parish, but they've got some problems. Kenner's getting there pretty bad, I mean, look at that poor, that once proud Esplanade Mall.
Yeah,
I mean, Macy's
used to be the
has
mall to
closed
go to.
down. Macy's don't close down. I mean, they just don't. And I don't buy the
half
whole,
of that mall is closed down.
and I don't
Harry.
buy. People shop online. Yeah, the mall, the Macy's in Lakeside is thriving. So don't get me that people shop online. We know why that mall is the way it is.
Yeah.
Its crime has gotten out of hand, and until those things change, and of course that's Kenner. That has nothing to do with Orleans. They're their own entity, but Orleans. There any malls in Orleans that you go to in Orleans Parish?
I went to the Riverwalk.
How's that?
It's nice now.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been there, but that's by the Hilton, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's right. I forgot about the Riverwalk. But
yeah, but that's the only, Canal Place. But I mean,
What about-
every
what-
time that I've been in Canal Place, the mall part is closed.
what about
you know
Oak?
what I mean?
What's that? Oakwood?
Oakwood in like
In the West Bank.
the West Bank.
that's Jefferson.
That's basically no. That's still
So Jefferson-
Orleans. That's barely Orleans.
Oh, really? It is Orleans. Okay.
Yeah, and probably about a year ago, Crazy and I got into a conversation about malls,
Okay.
and we were looking at the various mall web pages and like their diagrams, or their directory,
Right.
just to see. It's like, what stores are in Lakeside Mall right now? What stores are in Esplanade? What stores are in this? And we went through all the major malls of the New Orleans area, and counting the, I guess they would be called like feeder stores, like it's in the parking lot
Like
of
like a
the mall.
restaurant or
Yeah, like a restaurant, like in front of
Goodyear
Esplanade
place.
Mall. There's the tire place. There's
Okay.
the McDonald's. There's a Olive Garden. There's a
just the
a
mall
Chili's
stores,
or whatever.
not the
You know,
not department stores.
yeah, not but even counting those stores at Oakwood, there was maybe 10 stores, and that was including like the tire place off
Jesus.
off at the corner of the
and
the
eight
parking lot.
of more shoe stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to Esplanade, and there's a whole wing that they've just got walled off.
I used
to where
to work
like
out
that
the
used to be where the Radio Shack was. That's where the Babbage's was. That's where
I worked at Ruby Tuesdays as a waiter out there back in the day.
Yeah.
It was the early '90s. That mall was booming, booming.
that was when I would go on Black Friday shop, and like I'd always go the evening of Black Friday.
Yeah.
And it would be a casual.
You're a brave person.
Stroll,
to do
well,
something.
I would do it as a casual stroll thing. It would be me and Crazy going around, and we'd have
That's
we'd
your
go pick
mall
up
buddy.
we'd go pick up like a large daiquiri or whatever with an extra shot,
Yeah.
and go
That's
walk through
best
the
way-
mall.
Best way to go through a mall.
Yeah, and just
liquored up.
watch, and we would just watch the people, fighting over, the Tommy Hilfiger T-shirt that was on sale, or the
You've been
the
to
TV
the
that
mall,
was on sale.
Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge, huh?
It's been a few years, but
That's
yes.
a great mall. That's a
Yeah.
really, really cool mall. It's 2 stories, great food court, a lot of really great news stores. I mean, you got your typical ones. You get your Bed Bath & Beyond. You got a pretzel vendor. You got
Yeah.
those kind of things. But they got some pretty cool stuff. Went to the Galleria in the summertime on our way to San Antonio to go see Iron Maiden. We spent the night in Houston before we went to San Antonio and went to the Galleria. That place is like a fucking city. It's a city. Like, it's humongous. They obviously, they have a skating rink, and, Jen wanted to go ice skating, which, it's fine. It's something she wants to do. Walking around, we ran out of time. Well, we had to leave the store because they were closed. Now, we did get there late. We weren't there all day, but that place is amazing. Wish we had something like that big here.
Yeah.
Because it'd be closed in a year. So
I'd say probably the closest to that would be the Riverwalk.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I need to go back down
since
there.
They probably about maybe 2 years ago or something like that. I want to say that they basically kicked out all of their clients, and they rearranged it
Start
to where
from scratch.
to where like now, instead of it being, because there was a while where it seemed like it was nothing but tourist T-shirt shops and
Yeah,
they
they get enough of those on Bourbon Street. You don't need.
and I think that they basically forced a lot of those out, and now there's
There used to be a good restaurant there. Right as you walk in the Riverwalk, you go up those stairs. I'm trying to think of the name of that restaurant. It was really good.
I know which one you're talking about.
Because it's connected to the Hilton, obviously.
Yeah.
But and they have a big bar up there with a sports area. I don't know what the name of that restaurant is. It might not even be there. I mean, it might be something totally different now. But yeah, it's been a while.
But
Actually, I was
all
there.
the stores in there now, it's like, it's not just like,
that's cool. I need to go
Joe's T-shirt shop,
I was actually there.
James
the Christmas
gift shop.
The Christmas where that boat hit the dock.
Yeah.
By the river. I was there that weekend. Like, I was there on I think it was a Thursday or Friday, and I think it happened like a day later or 2 days later. And I remember going up those stairs with the actual boat came, and busted into. I'm thinking, holy shit, I was just there.
Yeah,
That was
just
crazy.
standing right there.
Reminded me of Jurassic Park, with the T-Rex.
Yeah.
I was watching that movie the other night. How did all those people in the boat die if the T-Rex was locked up? Because when they reached the dock, there's a hand hanging off the off the wheel, and there's
Yeah.
the body parts. Who killed all those people? The T-Rex was still locked up, and the T-Rex couldn't have gotten into the cabin. Was it the baby? Is that motherfucker? But no, the baby wasn't there.
I think that just leaves the yeah.
I was watching. I'm like, who killed all these people? Because they had to open up the container that the T-Rex was in.
Right.
It was closed, locked, jammed. So
It locked itself back in. I mean,
right. It tiptoed around, killed everybody. Goes, "Rah!" Okay. Yeah. I don't know why that finally dawned on me. I've probably seen that movie 1,000 times, and I'm like, how did everybody die? Like I understand the boat crashing because the person driving the boat, it was just
dead.
it was just a hand. But who severed his hand? Things that make you go, what the fuck?
so Mr. Harry, we did get some fan mail in per se
From Jamaica, man.
from Jamaica. We have 2 postcards here from Mr. Devin. He is officially giving us some updates from Jamaica.
And here's the other one, the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Superman or Green Lantern ain't
So
got
this one reads,
nothing on me.
Jamaica's great. I flew in through Delta's great airlines. Not a busy flight. Glad to get here before fall weather started. I hate the cold. Got my flip-flops and swimming trunks.
It's get cold in Jamaica.
Hope you appreciate this comic book themed card. Devin. And it's Superman holding up a train.
And then there's Green Lantern. So it was sort of a homage to Donovan. You know, Sunshine Superman.
Yeah.
Superman or Green Lantern ain't got nothing on me. So that was pretty clever of Devin to do a homage to Donovan. Or maybe he didn't mean to do it, and I just figured it out. But that was nice. So you read both of them, or you just read this one?
I just read that one. So this one was sent to me this week. Just trying to stay positive, despite how the commercials depict Jamaica. It actually gets quite boring. It's something that's a cliche more than anything. Devin.
80 man.
So I guess he's getting a little tired of sitting out on the beach.
Crystal cool waters of Jamaica, man.
So we will continue to keep in touch with him. And with his comic books, we will close out the show with, he sent us a comic book review that on his last show he had said that he would be reading different graphic novels and giving his updates. So we'll play that.
I've never read a comic book in my entire life. Can you believe
Really?
it? And I go to Comic-Con every year because it's the artwork that
You've
impresses.
never read one of Laddie's comics?
No, I did read. I take that back. I did read Night Stars, which I liked a lot, and that's because it was Laddie. But yeah. But I mean,
But,
you know,
yeah, you're talking
Superman,
about
Spider-Man,
yeah.
none of those. And I'm not saying that because I don't think Laddie's aren't comic books. I just totally forgot about those.
Yeah.
You know, but I never bought a comic book. I had friends who collected them, but the artwork was always, because it's something I can't do. I mean, I can't draw like that. And it amazes to watch those guys just freehand shit, and it just blows me away.
Yeah, it's definitely
Especially this old stuff, these old ones. Pretty cool.
yes. Seeing
Thanks.
the
Well, hope
colors
Devin's doing well in Jamaica, man.
yeah. So stay safe out there, Devin.
Yes.
Keep us informed of how things are going.
The goings on.
So the only other thing that I had was Alexa before the show. You were getting a little test out of the waters with her.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued about Alexa. No,
Stop.
Because I went to use your facilities inside saw that you had a rotary phone. I'm thinking, now how does he have a rotary phone? But everything in his house is controlled by these hockey pucks.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But then you told me that the phone wasn't actually
Yes.
hooked up.
When
But
I
the
moved
Alexa
into my
is very
house-
cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I like with it, and I even got into a conversation about it last night.
Hopefully not with her.
No. That in order to truly appreciate it, it's one of those things that I almost feel like you need to go balls to the wall with it.
Well, you definitely did that.
Yeah,
because I
I
think you
mean-
got one in. You got one in.
I've got 3 of them, 3 of the dots around the house, including this one here in the studio. And I've got most of my lights are now controlled by it. The thermostat.
She Alexa does a good job.
Yeah, I mean,
I was listening to some music. I go, her name, play some music, whatever, and boom, there it is.
yeah.
I even played a version of Blueberry Hill that I didn't even know existed. One by
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, I was like, let's play, Blueberry Hill. And he goes, Blueberry Hill by Louis Armstrong. I'm like, what? I didn't know he did this. It was pretty cool. So, well done.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it connected up to like my Pandora, and
Yeah.
I could plug it into Spotify and all that kind of stuff. But
It's almost like life is becoming like those
Back to the Future too.
like those futuristic movies we used to see.
Yeah.
People walking around. They're walking around with the
Yeah, with like a
Apple-
smartwatch. Yeah.
Talking into it. Like Dick Tracy, and you've got FaceTime and all these programs. And now you got voice control stuff that are doing stuff. You added something to your grocery list through her.
Yeah.
It's
I
just-
mean, it's
either get moving
well,
into the
the
next
thing that I
century, or you're gonna
like
get
with
left
the-
behind.
That's one of the biggest features that I do like with the grocery list thing. The fact that, because 9 times out of 10, when you're making your grocery list, you've got your head in the cabinet and
Right.
the
Now, how do you
fridge.
retrieve it? You just
On my phone, I have an app. They have the
okay.
an
So
A-word app.
everything she adds to it.
Yeah, and I can go through that list and see, I said that I need to get peanut butter. I need to get water. I need to get,
Right.
coffee, whatever.
Well done, young lady.
So,
Very impressive. I do enjoy it.
so that was everything that I had here, Mr. Harry. Did you have any other topics that you wanted to bring up?
Well, one new thing I just found out is that Justin is joining Paper Chase.
Yeah, Molly is now officially a member of Paper Chase.
So that's a good add to Paper Chase. Another good guitar player, another great voice. So that's going to only enhance the band as far as new music they will do. You know? I'll tell you one thing. I have to give Cheese a lot of credit because, a lot of people gave him shit in the early going with Paper Chase and the pink ties, and I may have even given him shit about it. I mean, possible. But I have to say, with all that being said, he's done a fantastic job of forming this band. He's got a great band. He's doing exactly what he wants to do. You have seen the crowds. They're totally into it.
They're getting the crowds behind them.
Yeah, it's not really music I typically go listen to, but I'm impressed. I think he's done a fantastic job, and major props to Cheese and the band, and for Justin for joining the band. Justin's going to be in as many bands as Woody, I think.
I think he might be beating Woody right now.
And they're both in this band, right? In Woody and
Yes.
Phil. Yeah, so there you go, with Phil and Miguel and the whole crew. So
Yeah, I think that Molly is actually beating Woody by like 2 bands.
yeah, and he just went to London and then in France. So
Yeah.
he's doing the lawyer thing and he's doing the singing thing. Also, I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Adam Pierce.
Yeah,
He is now into the knockout round of The Voice. So I think this Monday.
to be honest, I
I'm
don't
not-
watch the show.
I've
like,
never
how
watched-
how far into it is that?
I
Like,
don't.
mean,
Honestly, I've
is that
never
like the
watched
final
the show.
4? You know what I mean?
I've never watched the show. I don't know the routine. I knew there was a battle part of it, but I didn't know, if the loser's off, and I didn't know about steals or anything. So this is my first trip through The Voice, and the only reason I'm watching it is obviously because Adam's in it. So I'm getting a sort of an education of sorts of the show, but he's done fantastic.
Yeah.
He tried out last season. He didn't get to nobody turned their chairs last time. They told him to come back, to work on some things. He did. He actually got a voice coach, and he's been playing gigs everywhere. And this time around, 2 people turned their chairs, and now he's on Team Adam. What's the guy's name?
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine or Levine.
Yeah.
Adam Levine. So he's on Team Adam. Adam's on Adam. I don't know what that means, but anyway, no, he's done great. So this Monday night, it's Monday and Tuesday. They start the knockout rounds.
Yeah. So
good. So
yeah, best
congratulations.
of luck to you, Adam.
Yeah.
We hope to see you holding up the trophy in the end.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I told him. I went and saw him at Wallows, and I was talking to him. And I said, if win, lose, or draw, this is gonna benefit your career.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely going to benefit your, because you're going to get, this is going to open doors that probably wouldn't have normally opened just by being on the show.
Yeah.
Just by being picked, winning in a battle. If he wins, and like I said, he doesn't have to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
the guy, some of those people who are famous now,
look at some of the people who came in
didn't even
second
win
and third place on American Idol and The Voice, and
one of the judges. Now, I'm so bad with names today. I can't think. Jennifer Hudson. She's one of the judges. She didn't win American Idol.
Yeah.
She's won a Grammy and an Academy Award.
Right. And she didn't
She didn't win it.
Yeah, she didn't win.
She wasn't even in the finals.
Yeah.
So it's going to open major doors for him. So I'm very happy for him. He's, well-deserved. He works hard. He gigs all the time.
Yeah, I know he's always with Mothership.
Yeah. And they just played, I think, last night at the House of Shock. Have you been to the House of Shock?
I haven't made it over there
There's
yet.
an AC/DC
I need to
tribute
go over.
band playing the House of Shock tonight. So I'm thinking I might go check them out. They're supposed to be the best AC/DC tribute band. So this should
I'm trying to sneak over there hopefully like tomorrow night, or because I think from here on out they're open every night.
Right. I think they're even open the weekend after Halloween.
So I'm going to try and sneak over there.
Yeah, but Mothership's done well. Yeah, and then there's a lot of great bands. Stash Gordon's got a gig coming up,
Stash is playing
which
here
is
in
the
a couple
Queen
weeks.
tribute band. And then there's they have Justin has a band. It's the Soundgarden tribute band, Super Unknown. So man, it's just, and then there's a lot of stuff going. Got a lot of good peeps, good friends of ours that are doing fantastic things musically, podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their little gigs happening.
Definitely check out and support the local music and arts and entertainment scene.
Yeah, I set up a webpage a while back on Facebook called Support Local Artists NOLA, and it's like 1,200 people on it. And it's free for people to post their gigs, and people do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, if you are a fan of the local arts and entertainment, music, go and like the Facebook page.
Yeah, join the page, and then you can, if you have a friend who has a band, or you have a band, or a band that's playing that you want people to go see, you put the post on there, and get it out to the people.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about social media. That's one of the positives of social media, I think, is being able
to spread the word easier.
Absolutely.
And as always, you can check us out at picklescoop.com, on Facebook, facebook.com/The Scoop Show, at PScoop Podcast on Twitter, at Pickle Scoop on Instagram. Subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app.
Where you can come up and say hi.
Yeah.
shake a hand, kiss a brother, you know?
So, Mr. Harry, I am looking forward to doing lots of more wonderful shows with
Absolutely,
you,
my brother.
So,
It's the Pickle Man.
so till the next show, Scoop out. Hey, everybody, this is Pickle. We did receive a comic book review from Mr. Devin Fleming. He gave us a review of Preacher, Book 1, Gone to Texas, by Garth Ennis. It reads, Dear the Scoop, it was originally published in 1996, the year I was born, and for some darn reason, 21 years later, I am just now finding out about it. Anyways, if you like graphic, violent, and unique comics, then you'll find appreciation towards the dark-humored story of Jesse Carter, a small-town preacher with a dark past, who is losing his faith and mind. In his search for answers to a gift he was given by a half-angelic, half-demonic being that escaped heaven called Genesis. The story has a sense of unpredictability. It alone had me eagerly turning each page with childlike curiosity, followed by a silent gasp or silent eyebrow raises with widening of eyes. I hated setting it down and just wanted to keep continuously reading this thing until I finished it. But when I was finally reaching the end of part 1, I threw my hands up in the air and then clapped for applause. This was followed by self-loathing because I didn't have part 2 until now. Because I just got part 2 in the mail today, bitches. More reviews on the Preacher series to come. Yours truly, Devin Fleming. This has been your weekly comic book review.